Ricky Nelson's life often feels like a story Hollywood wrote for itself, beginning in brightness and ending in quiet heartbreak. Born Eric Hilliard. Nelson on May 8, 1940, in Teaneck, New Jersey, he entered the world already wrapped in fame as the son of beloved entertainers Ozzie and Harriet Nelson. Unlike most stars, Ricky did not rise to fame. He was raised inside it. America watched him grow from a shy child into a young man through the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, making him one of the first true television-born celebrities. Millions felt they knew him personally, yet that familiarity became both a gift and a burden. While audiences saw comfort and charm, Ricky grew up aware that his life belonged to the public long before it belonged to him. That tension would quietly shape every chapter that followed. Growing up on America's television. From the moment Ricky appeared on radio and television, he became part of American family life. Week after week, viewers tuned in not just for entertainment, but for familiarity, watching Ricky mature in real time. His calm demeanor, natural charm, and gentle confidence made him instantly likable. And by his teenage years, he had become a national heartthrob. Yet growing up on television blurred the boundary between performance and reality. Ricky did not audition for fame. It surrounded him from birth. While many child stars later struggled with identity, Ricky quietly observed and learned, developing a desire to define himself beyond the scripted world of sitcom life. Even as audiences adored his wholesome image, he felt the weight of expectation pressing down on his future. The challenge ahead was not how to remain famous, but how to become authentic. A rock and roll gamble that paid off. In 1957, Ricky Nelson made a move that surprised nearly everyone. At a time when rock and roll was viewed with suspicion by older audiences, he chose to step away from his safe television persona and pursue music seriously. What began as skepticism quickly turned into admiration. His first major hit, I'm Walkin', proved his voice was not a novelty, but the real thing. Success followed rapidly with songs like Poor Little Fool, Hello Mary Lou, Travelin' Man, and Lonesome Town. Ricky didn't just succeed, he thrived, becoming one of the top-selling male solo artists of his era. By the early 1960s, he had helped bring rock music into mainstream American homes, long before the British invasion reshaped pop culture. He had done the impossible, escaped his image without losing his audience. Choosing growth over comfort. As musical tastes shifted in the 1960s, many artists clung to nostalgia, but Ricky Nelson chose evolution. Rather than replaying old hits, he leaned into change, forming the Stone Canyon Band and exploring a sound that blended rock, folk, and country influences. This decision confused some longtime fans, but positioned Ricky as an early pioneer of what would later be called country rock. His willingness to grow artistically placed him ahead of his time, influencing future bands such as the Eagles. The defining moment of this era came in 1972 with Garden Party, a reflective song inspired by an audience that rejected his new music. Its message was simple yet powerful. You can't please everyone, so you've got to please yourself. The song became both a comeback hit and a personal manifesto, capturing Ricky's quiet independence. A serious actor. Beyond the music was only one side of Ricky Nelson's creative life. Alongside his recording success, he built a respectable acting career that extended far beyond his childhood sitcom. His performance in Rio Bravo opposite John Wayne and Dean Martin earned genuine praise and proved he could hold his own among established film stars. Over the years, Ricky maintained a steady presence in television and film, choosing roles carefully rather than chasing constant exposure. Acting offered him a different form of expression, one less tied to trends and expectations. While music connected him emotionally to audiences, acting allowed him to step outside himself and explore other identities. Together, These parallel careers reflected a man who valued craft over spectacle, even when fame made restraint difficult. Love, marriage, and private struggles. Behind the scenes, Ricky Nelson's personal life carried complexities unseen by fans. As a teen idol, his relationships were closely watched, and family expectations often weighed heavily on his choices. In 1963, he married Kristen "Chris" Harmon, uniting two prominent Hollywood families. Their marriage produced 4 children, including actress Tracy Nelson and twins Gunnar and Matthew, who would later achieve musical success as the band Nelson. From the outside, the family appeared ideal. Yet the pressures of fame, constant touring, and emotional distance took their toll. Over time, the marriage unraveled, ending in divorce in 1982. The separation deeply affected Ricky, adding a layer of introspection and melancholy to his later work. Though devoted to his children, he struggled privately with the emotional cost of a life lived in public view. A new chapter and renewed hope. In the years following his divorce, Ricky Nelson continued performing and recording, though with a quieter presence than during his peak fame. He found companionship again with Helen Blair, who became his fiancée and partner during this later chapter of his life. Those close to him described a man more reflective than restless, focused less on proving himself and more on sustaining what he loved. Touring remained a part of his routine, not as a chase for relevance, but as a continuation of purpose. Music had always been his constant, the one space where expectations softened into expression. As 1985 drew to a close, Ricky prepared for another New Year's Eve performance, unaware that this familiar ritual would become his final journey. The night everything changed. On December 31st, 1985, Ricky Nelson boarded a vintage DC-3 aircraft bound for a New Year's Eve concert in Dallas. What should have been a routine flight turned catastrophic when a fire broke out mid-air, forcing the plane to crash near DeKalb, Texas. Ricky, Helen Blair, and 5 members of his band lost their lives, while the pilot survived. The suddenness of the tragedy shocked fans and fellow musicians alike. In the aftermath, confusion and speculation filled the void left by unanswered questions. Initial reports provided little clarity, offering no definitive cause for the fire. For years, rumors overshadowed facts, leaving Ricky's final moments clouded by uncertainty rather than understanding. The truth that took decades to surface. For decades, the circumstances surrounding Ricky Nelson's death remained unresolved, allowing speculation to flourish. However, later investigations brought long-awaited clarity. Evidence revealed that the aircraft had been dangerously maintained, with a faulty heater system installed beneath flammable materials. The malfunction ignited a fire that filled the cabin with toxic smoke, leaving passengers with no chance of escape. Crucially, safety equipment that could have slowed or suppressed the fire was absent. Ricky Nelson was not lost to recklessness or mystery, but to preventable negligence. Toxicology reports confirmed he was sober, dispelling harmful rumors once and for all. The final truth was sobering. Those responsible were aware of the aircraft's condition and allowed it to fly regardless. Closure came late, and comfort not at all. A legacy beyond the tragedy. Ricky Nelson's legacy should never be defined by the way his life ended. He was a trailblazer who successfully transitioned from child star to rock icon, from teen idol to respected artist, from nostalgia to innovation. His music continues to resonate, his influence woven into the fabric of American popular culture. Songs like Lonesome Town and Garden Party still speak to listeners navigating change, independence, and quiet resilience. Ricky's story stands as both inspiration and warning, a reminder that talent and fame offer no protection from systemic failure or overlooked responsibility. The mystery of his death may now be solved, but what remains is the enduring impact of a man who chose growth over comfort and authenticity, over expectation. His voice lives on, steady and sincere, long after the final curtain fell.